Hello everybody, welcome back to JT channel. Yes, I'm driving, but don't worry, I'm not gonna go flying off the road in this video. I have been working on a new series called Let's Have a Chat, and the very first episode being Pro Wrestling in 2023. And I had shot the whole video the other day, and I just didn't like how it came out. My head was like cut off. My daughter was in it a bunch, and I'm not sure I'm comfortable with her being on my videos yet. So we're going to do it like this while I'm driving. So this is Let's Have a Chat, and we're going to talk about pro wrestling. I know I already said that, but I want to establish this as its own series away from everything else. And really, pro wrestling in 2023 has been it's one of the best years ever to be a wrestling fan. And there's people out there like, oh, that's saying a lot. And sure it is. You know, we all remember the Attitude Era, you know, the wild crowds and the wild stories. And, you know, people would just go to Raw and scream for 2 hours. That's all they do. True, we're not in that era anymore, but it's such a good time to be a fan. It's such a good time to, you know, if you reflect on the year, it's such a good time to enjoy wrestling because there's so much out there. WWE this year, it's been one of their best years ever. It's, in my opinion, it's their best year since like 2017 or something, when Braun Strowman was like doing those banger matches every Monday. Like 2017, I don't remember a lot about it, but I fell out of WWE really, really hard from like 2008 probably to like 2015, 2016. I still watched it, but this year, Papa H has done a great job. If we start all the way from the beginning of the year, the Royal Rumble, I mean, from that moment on, this year has been great. You know, and you can talk about the Rumbles themselves, Cody winning the Rumble, how Cody and Gunther did in the Rumble, how well the Rumble was structured, the Logan Paul, Seth Rollins spot, the Logan Paul, Ricochet spot. You could talk about Rhea Ripley and her performance and her Liv's performance. The surprises, Michelle McCool's entrance was awesome. But then you got to talk about the Bloodline, which has been great all year. You know, I'll be the first one to jump up and be like, I thought Cody should have beat Roman. I collapsed to my knees and was like, what is happening? What the F? Yada, yada, yada. But they've pulled it out on the other side, in my opinion. You know, all the stuff with Jimmy and main event Jey Uso. Excuse me. Yeet. I can't believe Yeet is the thing in WWE. How far we've come. And we could talk about the Intercontinental title and Gunther and how he's probably had all the best matches this year. I mean, that might sound like hyperbole, but I think a bunch of different places have named Gunther, Drew, and Sheamus from Mania as the WWE match of the year. It's really hard to argue. I know the United States title hasn't had the same oomph, but Rey Mysterio did a good job with it. Logan Paul is going to, of course, I mean, he's a megastar. He's an outside superstar, a celebrity or whatever. So, and his matches have been really good. His match with Roman Reigns, his match with, I don't think that was this year, but you know what I mean. His match with Ricochet was really good. And of course, he beat Rey, saved Rey's life, whatever. And here we are at the end of the year, and everything is it's still going so strong. And we're kicking off 2024 with that Day 1 Raw, which is freaking stacked. Then you move on to AEW, which I'll admit, once again, I'll be the first to admit, as a major AEW mark, they've missed the mark a lot this year. The end of the year has been doing a lot better than the rest. I know not everybody's in this Devil storyline. I am. I can't wait to see who it is. I think it's Adam Cole, baby. I actually got into the Samoa Joe turn recently. It's compelling to me. MJF as a babyface has worked really well. I'm a little peeved that it took so long for Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee to have their match. Swerve Strickland he's almost the GOAT in AEW for me right now. I say almost because you can't talk about that without talking about Bryan Danielson. We'll talk about it in just a second, but everything Swerve and Adam Page have done this year, every single thing that Swerve has done specifically, top-notch, beautiful, wonderful. They've had their issues this year. They floundered in the women's division. They floundered in the tag and trios. I know. I'm not an idiot wrestling fan. I'm a big wrestling fan. I like all wrestling promotions. AEW was my favorite for the last 4 years or whatever, but I think WWE did do better than them this year. But again, I feel like AEW's getting back into it. Timeless Tony Storm is a great story. The TBS title picture is great. Abaddon being back is amazing. Christian Cage, Father of the Year. Bringing in Adam Copeland was great. Him and Christian had a great match in Canada. They're going to have a great match at World's End. All this stuff. It's all been great. I mentioned Bryan Danielson. He was the Wrestler of the Year overall for me. He knows his career is coming to an end, his full-time career at least, and he's just put out the best matches possible. I mean, I could wrestle Bryan Danielson. I've only got 7 months of experience, and we could have a 4-star match. It'd be all Bryan. He'd probably push me to a 4.5 in the Tokyo Dome. I really want to touch on Impact Wrestling / TNA. There'll be TNA in January. A lot of people are saying they're the promotion of the year, and that's saying a lot. You know, a decade or so ago, when it was just TNA, everyone was like, they're never going to touch WWE. They're never going to be a good company because they were what they were back then with Hogan and Dixie and so on and so forth. But Impact Wrestling did so well this year, especially like the second half of the year, last 6 months, that they were the promotion of the year for a lot of people. And I don't know if I can argue that. The rise of Mike Bailey specifically, I've been watching Mike Bailey for a long time, but his matches in Impact have been amazing. And I think they signed somebody, I can see his face, Kushida. Sorry, I'm driving. And that's awesome for them. They're getting major signings. They even talked to CM Punk, who we'll get to. So that's great for Impact. I don't disagree they were promotion of the year, but I didn't get to catch everything because I don't make a whole lot of money. I can't buy all the pay-per-views. So for me, it was WWE because I got to watch all the PLEs and I get to keep up with everything. Thank you, What Culture. Simon Miller, he keeps me up to date. But let's briefly touch on CM Punk. I don't want to stay on him too long. I'm a CM Punk fan. Sorry. I was getting out of my seat after the Survivor Series pay-per-view. My daughter and wife were in bed, and I was like, oh, the show's over. And that hit, and I almost fell down. I'm happy he's back. I'm looking forward to what he's going to do in WWE this time. Him and Seth Rollins, I can't wait for it. The other promotions, you know, GCW, New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think I pronounced one of those words wrong, but whatever. And MLW. Not enough people watch MLW. They have this storyline going on where Matt Cardona works for WTF, World Titan Federation. It is amazing. Okay, they even had a fake superstar hotline. MLW rules, and more people need to be watching it. As far as my of the year stuff, I made a Facebook post about this, but I already said Bryan Danielson was the wrestler of the year for me. Rhea Ripley was the female wrestler. She did awesome. Gunther and Cody, you can't forget. Seth, you can't forget. I still think Kenny Omega had a banter year. He did great this year. Jericho did good this year. Ospreay might be the best wrestler in the world. I don't know if I can go through all the matches. Bryan Danielson versus MJF in that Iron Man match, maybe the best Iron Man match ever. It is, in my opinion. The triple threat for the Intercontinental title I mentioned earlier. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair had an incredible contest. You can't really forget about Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. I'm going to forget a lot because I'm driving. But Kingo and Omega. I know now people don't like that style, but that match is stuck in my head since I watched it. Kingo and Omega was just incredible. There was lots. Pay-per-view of the year for me, All In London, and WrestleMania 39 Night 1. They're both too good. They're both way too good. CM Punk's last match in AEW was, a lot of people call it the greatest 3.5-star match of all time because old Dave. I go on and on with this of the year stuff. I just want to give you a brief idea of what I'm into. I'm into everything, you know. I really liked what Swerve and Hangman did in the Texas Death Match, but I also like watching Daniel Bryan and Zack Sabre Jr. do their technical stuff. And then I mentioned Vikingo and Omega bouncing around the place. So, you know, it's just been such a good year, and I think 2024 is going to be even better. Triple H started talking about some big surprise on the Day 1 Raw. We've got 3 or 4 PLEs overseas. All In London is happening again. 2024 is going to be a really big year. But let's not forget how good 2023 was. There's a lot of tribalism out there. I like all wrestling. I like all the promotions. If I had the money to watch all of the pay-per-views and PLEs, I would. I never miss a PLE because someone else pays for my Peacock Plus. But I really wish I could watch everything. I wish I was watching World's End tonight. That's when I'm recording this. I'm recording this the day of World's End, which I think is going to be brilliant. But that's it for me. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you're a wrestling fan watching this video, leave in the comments what you like most this year, what you're looking forward to in 2024. What I'm looking more forward to the most next year is CM Punk at WrestleMania. I want to see what they're going to do with him in this guise. I hope it's Seth Rollins. I don't know. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what AEW does to come back. Because again, I think they floundered in 2023. But anyway, that's it for me. This is JT Channel. I am JT. See you next time.